just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right?
We've got to raise the bar, and we've got to continue to raise the bar. I don't think any of those young men, when they signed to come to Tennessee, they signed to say they wanted to come and be a part of a 7-6 program. All right, they said they wanted to come and compete for championships, SEC championships, national championships. I know that's what I want. I know that's what Tennessee wants. I know that's what the expectation is. So we've got to continue to reassess everything that we're doing and make sure that we're continuing to move the needle in the right direction.
The team makes two mistakes to win. Play forward, make breaks, one comes always score. If it hurts, you ain't breaks, no get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slides, through the game, tackle, this win it in. First shooting game, we're here for the first made. Carry everybody, keep it there for 60 minutes.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I am Gabriel.
And it's the morning show. It's Monday morning. You know what that means. Me, Gabe, going to be going live. Eric Kane's going to be in the house. Had some stuff going on this morning. Asked if he could kind of shift and come on a little bit later. So he should be on around the 9:30 mark, something like that. We'll get Eric on here and pick his brain about that UT Martin game. Also, it's Kentucky week, man. Gabe, it's Kentucky week. And I know you put it on record, said Kentucky's not going to score more than 10 points. I don't know. It's early in the week, man, and I'm already starting to buy into a Tennessee blowout over Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I'm believing.
I'm excited. I mean, it's going to be a good game. There's a lot of stuff to dive into as far as that game goes and the matchups, but I think it is a matchup nightmare for Kentucky. I just do. I think it's going to be a rough time for the little cats from Lexington. And we're gonna talk about it as the week goes on and later this morning. But I'm definitely hyped for that game. And for Scott saying I look tired, I did wake up about 30 minutes ago, and it's a very groggy, cloudy, rainy morning. So I am still in the process of waking up.
Look, if Talkin VAWLS was a business, I would be the boss, right? I'm the manager. I lay out the schedules. I tell you guys when to be here. I lay out the guests. There's nothing like a message sent bright and early in the morning and say, hey, man, Eric's going to be late. Why don't you just jump on at 9 o'clock? It's like, I just rolled out of bed. Let me put my glasses on and get in front of the computer and talk to 108 people watching live right now. Guys, we're going to get rolling here. Smash the thumbs up. Do it early. Do it quick. Do it often. If you can, do it twice. Why not? It's quick, free. It's easy. You guys know the deal. And share this thing out. Share it on Twitter, Facebook. Help this channel. We just hit 17,000 subscribers. Let's keep it going. And you guys are a big part of that. Share the thing out. Don't let that go in one ear and out the other. Really share it. Hit that share button. Takes about 2 seconds to do. Let's run down the chat, see who's hanging out. John Hill's in the house, says, it's great to be a Tennessee Volunteer. That it is. Jonah Clement says Hyatt is still running. Yeah, pretty sure Hyatt is wide open somewhere in Knoxville right around this time. Danny Pritchard in the house. What's up, Danny? Matt Dummett is here. Good to see Matt in the house, always early. Brad's in the house. What's up, Brad? DS4570 is here. Ladarian Roper in the house. BFL GBO. Love to see it. Dakota is in the house. Missed you last night, Dakota. Where were you? Eric B. Jones is here, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. Always good to see Eric in the house. Nomad Vol is here. Scott Bennett is here. John Hill with a $10 super chat. That means we can officially start the show. John says Wildcat tastes great with the right barbecue sauce. Balls by Fitty. Let's go Big Orange. I dig it. Thank you, John, for the super chat. Like I said, we can't start a Talkin VAWLS stream without John spending his money. We appreciate it. Crystal's in the house. Who else we got? Devin Williams is here. What's up, Devin? Guys, come on in, hit that thumbs up, share it out. Let's get this thing rolling. Look, we got 134 people watching live, and I think that this channel, this show, these live streams, you can't really compare a Monday morning to a post-game show or a Wednesday. Everything's different what we do. That's what I love. Every show is different, but you kind of gauge the pulse of the fan base by how many people show up. Do you feel like the fan base is kind of down? And I get it. We're coming off of UT Martin. It makes sense. But this is Kentucky, man. This is a big-time game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, you can't necessarily beat the hype there was for Alabama. I think as we go throughout the week, I think people will realize more and more that we're playing a game against Kentucky on Saturday that is actually a pretty big game with massive implications on our season. Because whether or not we lose to Georgia, we can't drop another one if we want to go to the playoff. So, I don't know. And we don't want to lose to Kentucky. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just, after coming down on the Alabama game, I think there was quite a bit of negativity about the game on Saturday. And yeah, I can see that. You wouldn't see it in the ticket prices for the game on Saturday. Those are still through the roof. But as far as the general vibe of everyone, I have not seen everyone. People are a little slow to get hyped this week, but I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure people are going to be pretty excited. But it's hard to get as hype as you are for Florida and Alabama for a team that you've beaten 27 out of 30 times, so it's hard to do that for the same way you do for a Florida team that's you've only beat once in 17 years, and an Alabama team that you haven't beat in 15 years, and all that sort of thing. So I get it, but at the same time, this is a big game. It's going to be an exciting game. Dark mode, most likely. I'd imagine they're going to post about it pretty early this week. But it's going to be exciting. So I think it's our job to help everyone get excited for this.
That's true. That's why we got to bring the energy, Gabe. They're calling you out early for not being energetic. We got to wake up. I'm going to have to make you set your alarm 2 hours early and get up and get going. Drink some coffee. Lonnie Allball Williams, you don't have your energy drink? What's wrong with you?
No, I forgot to. I went to the store yesterday and everything. I forgot to pick one up because we
let me
have
tell you
energy
something,
drinks at
Gabe.
work, so I don't have them at home.
There's this thing called Amazon, and you can go on and order boxes of rock stars, and then they just sit piled up in your kitchen, and then you have like 2-3 a day, and that's why you get on here at 9 in the morning going because you drank so much energy drinks you can't see straight. Let me hit this super chat from Baker Reynolds. Thank you for the $20. That ain't cheap. Locked in tickets for Saturday. Cats ain't got it. Vols by 50. I like it. Like I said, man, I'm getting excited, getting fired up. I'm starting to buy into the hype that this thing ain't going to be close. We'll see how I feel as the week plays out. But I think you're right, Gabe. I think the more the week goes on, the more this fan base is going to get energetic and realize how big of a game this truly is. There's no way you can look ahead to Georgia right now. This Kentucky game is huge. And once Eric Kane comes on the show, I've got a question I'm going to pose to him, and we'll kind of all three jump into it and talk about it. Look, it's a jam-packed show. I can already tell by the pulse, by the heartbeat, the way this thing's going, it's going to be longer than an hour. I can already guarantee that. We got a lot to talk about. Jermaine Burton, Alabama wide receiver. Nick Saban responds after he plays. We've got the clips. You guys have been asking about it over and over and over. So I'm just going to do it on a live stream, which is probably dumb because that's a video that would get a ton of views. But, hey, it's something you guys want to talk about, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into that UT Martin game just a little bit. Gabe's got some stuff he wants to talk about. Eric Kane will be here. We'll be talking about the Kentucky game coming up. And also, Gabe mentioned dark mode. There's some rumors floating around. There's some stuff out there on the internet that we will show you guys and talk about as well. But let's talk about Jermaine Burton first of all. Let me get the clip up here. This is off of another YouTuber's channel, so I'm not going to play the audio because he's providing commentary on it. But and this is why I should have made a video, because when something like this happens, It's all over YouTube. You click on a video, and it's a still shot and some idiot talking. And I get it. That's how you get views. It's part of YouTube. But I finally got the clip here, so let's take a look at it. And there's not just one incident. There are two incidents with Jermaine Burton. And for those that don't know who he is, it's not like he's not all SEC, but at the same time, he's not a guy that doesn't play. You know, he had 2 catches for 40 yards on Saturday in a game, in my opinion.
He's a starting wide receiver for Alabama, so.
Yeah, he should have been suspended for, but we'll get into that. He had 2 catches against Tennessee, 3 catches against Texas A&M, had 4 catches against Vanderbilt earlier in the year. So he's a guy that plays some football for Alabama. This is what happened after the Tennessee game. Most of you have already seen it, but there were 2 incidents. This is the first one where he comes up and slaps a guy with a cell phone, and then later the incident with the woman. So let's just play it, take a look at it here. And again, I'm not playing the audio. So here's the guy with the cell phone. Wham, gets hit. You can hear the audio. He's like, ugh.
Yep.
And the dude, you know, the guy providing the commentary here, I'm not even going to say his name, but he tried to validate this and say, if you put a cell phone in my face, I'm going to slap it out of your hand too. Okay, tough guy. Quit pretending to be tough on the internet and say you're going to do this, that, or the other. No, it's 2022. You don't go up and slap somebody for having a cell phone in their hand after Tennessee just beat Alabama. Right. You just walk by, go to the locker room, and shut up. Here's the some more of it. Shows a replay of that a couple of times. Then here's the clip with the female as well. I think it shows it a couple of times here.
He's like multiple feet away right there. He reaches out to hit the guy. And he doesn't say anything too. The audio of that specific clip, he doesn't say anything to him. He's just walking past. It's just, why is it looping?
That's a dude with a cell phone. It's the guy providing commentary over it.
I know it's the dude. It's just looping so many times.
Yeah, hold on. It goes to the female here in a second. Good gosh, man. Here it is. Let me skip. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Jeez, Pete. There you go. You see it plain as day right in the middle of the screen. Just goes up and kind of pie faces her.
She doesn't do anything. She just sidesteps him to give him a clear path. And he turns around. He turns around, reaches out, and smacks her in the side of the head.
I wonder how many times he loops this.
I don't know.
I just tried to find the place where it started, but you see it there multiple times. You see it 3 times. He pie faces her. He doesn't punch her, but he makes contact. And again, completely out of line. And everybody's asking about it, saying, Boogie, what do you think? Of course, it's out of line. And Nick Saban should have suspended. I guess start there, Gabe. What do you think should have been the punishment immediately after the game, as soon as that gets back to the coaching staff and Nick Saban?
Just tell the kid he's out for a game. You don't have to suspend. You don't have to kick him out of the practice facility. You don't have to limit his team activities. Just say, hey, man, people are mad about this. You shouldn't have done this. Let's just sit out this one. It's that simple. Instead of, kind of ignoring it is one thing. Acknowledging it and defending it is a whole other thing, especially with no punishment. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, the excuse that he was scared. Really? He was scared? That's why he hit 2 people on his way to the locker room? What about all the other Alabama players that didn't touch a Tennessee fan? What about them? But you're telling me Jermaine Burton was scared of a little college girl that was sidestepping him, So he had to turn around and actually put in the effort to reach out and smack her in the side of the head? That's bullcrap. He should have been suspended. And if Nick Saban didn't, then Greg Sankey should have. Because Greg Sankey would be, he would be, I guess, defying his SEC whatever responsibilities if he punished a player for hitting a fan that was on the field like is against the rules in the SEC. But it doesn't. There's not a rule that says nowhere in that rule does it say if you are a fan, you are subject to being literally assaulted by players. The players they're not zoo animals. They're humans that need to face consequences as well. They have brains to make choices. And Jermaine Burton made a choice to hit 2 people on his way to the locker room, despite having a clear path both times.
Brandon with a good point there, saying this sets a bad example for future games that fans rush the field to celebrate a big win. Now these guys will think it's okay to hit whoever and not get punished. Pathetic. And I've heard people try to validate it and say that she said something racist, that she spit on him, that she did this or that. It doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't give you the right to assault someone. And if she did, I'm not saying that she's in the right either, but still, there's what I don't get is that there's no punishment whatsoever. He should have been suspended for this game. Let things play out. I don't know what happens here. I don't know if there's a court case. I don't know what. Let's listen to what Nick Saban said after the game.
This week, what went into the decision to play Burton?
Look, I don't know how many of you have ever been in a situation like that, but I talked to him. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared.
Scared. Do you know how many times this football team, Alabama's football team and coaching staff, has probably been on the field when teams have stormed the field after beating them?
There's a team
multiple
that people rush the field for. Yeah,
Yes.
when they get beat. Absolutely.
Did Jermaine Burton? I feel like I'm an attorney. Did Jermaine Burton in any way, shape, or form look scared in those two video clips that you just saw?
No, he looked angry. Look at
Angry
the
and
expression on his
aggressive.
face. He's angry. He's mad that his team just lost a football game in heartbreaking fashion, and he's angry that all these fans are getting to rush the field because their team just lost.
Let's hear more what he has to say of why he chose to play Jermaine Burton.
I think you learn to respect other people because we have a responsibility to do that regardless of the circumstance that we're in. And, I talked to the guy. We have him in a counseling program. It's not an anger management program, as people announced today. Nobody ever said that. That's not the problem. That's not the issue.
So what is the issue, Nick? What is the issue?
Why do you have to have him in a counseling program if his anger isn't the problem? What other than anger would cause a reaction like that and cause you to bring that up during this press conference? What? I don't understand.
It's about having the proper respect for other people, and
Not hitting females. It's not.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary to suspend the guy. So if you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either.
Tell the whole story.
Absolutely, yes. I cannot stand this. I've said this multiple times on the show. Big fan of what Jason Swain does. He's the guy that's inside the program, right? He has inside information. And a lot of times on his show, he will kind of come at fans and say, you can't say this or do this or act this way because you don't know the truth. Then tell me the dang truth. Don't sit on the information and then expect me to act a certain way when I don't have the information. So Nick Saban sitting here saying, you don't know the whole story. Well, how about you tell us the whole freaking story and then we can make our judgment. How about that?
Exactly. Yeah, literally. Just say what happened. Say why he was. Did she say were his actions warranted? That's what we need to know. If they were warranted, tell us how. Otherwise, it's gonna continue to look like he just smacked a dude and a woman randomly. It's ridiculous. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Nick Saban as a football coach. I lost a decent bit of it in his responses after the game, whether it's talking about the referees, whether it's talking about this situation. I mean, it's ridiculous. The only danger you really need to feel about fans rushing the field is a stampede, which really doesn't happen anymore. People are pretty aware of that sort of thing. So I think it's ridiculous. I think it's bull crap. I mean, what else can you say about it? I mean, they talked about it on Saturday night game with Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler. Talked about it, and Chris Fowler sort of mentioned the fact that Jermaine was the one that felt threatened, and Chris was just kind of saying what other people were saying, but he never said anything that even insinuated that Jermaine Burton was actually in the wrong. Kirk Herbstreit just said yup, and kind of changed the subject really quickly. I think Kirk Herbstreit realized what Chris was doing, and unfortunately, Kirk is getting both of them are getting a lot of flack. Kirk never really said anything, but it's just a fact. It's more about what he didn't say. let's be realistic, guys. On Sunday Night Football, he's not going to stand there and give a tirade about how Jermaine Burton should get suspended. It's just not professional. It's not part of his job. He still hasn't said anything about it. He responded to people saying that he condones assault, obviously saying that he just didn't say anything about it. But it was just weird. It was a weird scenario. And they especially Chris Fowler, just like kind of very clearly sugarcoating the scenario and making it seem like Jermaine Burton is the good guy. So that's just, it's so, and that's how the whole national media has been, just ignoring it, sugarcoating it, glossing over details, glossing over the fact that there's literally videos.
Here's the funny thing about the whole situation.
Videos.
It's like it's all on tape. You can see plain as day. So regardless of what she said, what she did, say she made a racist comment. What if she did make a racist comment? What if she spit on him? How would your perception change? Would you all of a sudden say, well, he shouldn't be suspended? No, he should still be suspended for his actions. Let's compare this, because this is something that happens not on the regular. And again, I'm no professional. I don't do my homework and research and have all these numbers and data. This has happened multiple times at Alabama. We saw it with Jeremy Pruitt when Jeremy Banks got arrested. And the phone call, it's recorded, and Jeremy Pruitt says, we didn't have to do this at Alabama. Like, he knows that Bama bias is real, and he knows that they get away with whatever they want. You said earlier, why doesn't Greg Sankey get involved? Greg Sankey should have 100% got involved and said he's got to sit out at least a week while you let things play out. And then on the flip side of that, you look at a guy like Josh Heupel and how he handles business, and the situation with Jalen McCullough. Let's compare the two situations. You've got a female going onto the field to celebrate the biggest upset probably in her lifetime, walking by a dude and gets pie-faced. Situation B, you got a dude sitting in his apartment with his girlfriend, and a freaking unknown stranger walks in his house and is like, what's up, what's going on? And then makes some smart, I don't know if it was a racist comment there or if he just cussed him, insulted him, made some comment, got punched in the face. Jalen McCullough's been out not 1 but 2 weeks. Look at the two situations and make that comparison. Alabama does this crap all the time.
Right. I think the saving grace for Jermaine Burton is that it happened on the field. There's a lot of things that happen. I mean, in the NFL, dudes literally try and kill each other, and they don't get any legal repercussions. If Jalen McCullough did that to somebody on the field, he might get a penalty. But Jermaine Burton, it being on the field, and that's the other stupid thing is, and that's kind of what I said earlier, is there is a huge lack of accountability for football players in general, because for violent physical outbursts just because they're on the field. If a dude tries to knock a guy out without a helmet on, I mean, what Aaron Donald trying to hit somebody with a helmet. I'm talking NFL, but Aaron Donald trying to hit somebody with a helmet in the head before the season, that's assault. That just because it happened on a football field doesn't mean it's not actually literally a crime. Like, you could legitimately hurt somebody with that. So, like I said earlier, college football players aren't football players in general aren't zoo animals. They're not dangerous creatures to be, stood 6 feet away from. They're human beings that have hearts and minds and the ability to make choices, and a lot of them make the wrong choices and get freaking just excused just because it's on a football field. You know what I mean? I mean, you see a college football player punch a dude, he might get ejected from the game, but he punches a dude off the football field, and all of a sudden he's in the legal system and he's out for 2 weeks just because the Knoxville Sheriff's Department can't get their crap together. So I don't know. I think it's a stupid standard, and how much more can you really say?
Dakota says, "Where are we going with this? What are you guys doing?" Dakota's not happy. He says, "Moving on."
Yeah.
People wanted us to address it. They wanted me to talk about it, so I figured it'd be a good way to start the show on this Monday morning. We got 260 people watching live right now. Guys, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up. That's quick, free, and easy. We appreciate you being here, hanging out. It's Kentucky week, and what better shirt to wear than Kentucky's daddy? Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We still got those business shirts, Tennessee, Alabama scoreboard shirts with the quote, "It's just business." Got that Talkin VAWLS cigar right in the middle. I love that design, one of my favorite designs we put together. We've also got Vols by Fitty, the state pride shirt, that logo now tattooed on two men that are a part of this Talkin VAWLS community. I absolutely love it. But, you know, we got the beat Bama, beat Florida, beat Georgia shirts. It's Kentucky week. It's Kentucky week, and we let them know we don't beat Kentucky. We own Kentucky. We are Kentucky's daddy, so go pick up that merch. You want to rep that for Kentucky week. And then we got some other stuff, clean logo shirts, TBA Jam, all the good stuff. Again, go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys just being here, hanging out. Scott Bennett in the chat pointing it out. Guys, hit the thumbs up. It's free. It is quick. It is free. It is easy. It does help the channel. But we're glad that you guys are here. If you want to support a little bit more, you can become a member of the channel. Hit that join button down below. As little as 99 cents up to $10 a month. You support what we're doing. If you like these morning streams, that's a way to bring you more of these morning streams. I saw somebody in the chat asking if I was doing this full time yet. No, not yet. Not yet, but I am running out of vacation time sooner rather than later. So if you guys want to support, join the channel. We would appreciate it. Let's talk a little bit about this Tennessee Martin game from Saturday afternoon in Neyland Stadium. Early kickoff. It felt like a bye week, honestly. Just a quick reminder, we do still have Eric Kane coming up. Should be here within a couple of minutes. We'll get his thoughts on this as well, then kind of move into Kentucky. Somebody asking about uniforms. We'll get into that as well. But Tennessee takes care of business on Saturday afternoon. It was never in doubt. It's just total domination, start to finish, 65-24. I know you had some things you wanted to talk about, concerns, and I don't know if it was something I said, Gabe. You know, coming out of this game, I'm past the point of freaking out and concerning. This football team can play with anybody in the country. But what are your thoughts coming off of the win over Tennessee Martin?
There's a lot of drama surrounding this game, okay? Because we let UT Martin score 24 points, okay?
3 more than somebody told you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Our third team. Oh, yeah, you had to throw it in there.
I did. Couldn't let it go.
Listen, our second and third team defense, which I will admit struggled. It did struggle. Gave up 17 points to UT Martin. That's the big deal from this game. That's the big deal. And that you know what I have to say to that is then it's a great time to be a Tennessee Vol. If all we have to look at and complain about is the fact that our second and third teamers are struggling, then we must have a pretty dang good football team. You know, I know we had one iffy drive there at the beginning, but after that William Wright interception, they played off the charts. It was 52-7 at halftime, guys. 52-7 at halftime. People complaining about the defense and blah, 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 the defense. They had one rough drive at the very beginning of the game, and that was it. Then it was just our second and third teamers. I tweeted out during the game, I was like, you know, the good thing about these second team guys kind of struggling is they get to put a lot of stuff on film to fix and to specifically work on and practice and fix. They're going to improve a lot.
And that's something we didn't see with previous coaching staffs, right? Like with the Jeremy Pruitts, the Bush Joneses. They seem to, in these games, they struggled. They struggled to get out there and get that quick lead. And, I mean, Hendon Hooker was on the bench before the second quarter even ended.
Exactly.
That's how in control this game was.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's people complaining about blah, 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 and this and that. That was... For all, I understand the love-hate relationship with these games, right? Because you love to see our starters, you love to see our guys put up points, and you know, it's not necessarily the most fun thing to watch our second and third team get in there and struggle and whatever. But it's the way. It's college football. It's just the way it is, and I don't think there's really anything to complain about. You know, I mean, UT Martin's first team offense, who is a good offense. I'm just going to say, like, it's a really good offense who can put points up on pretty much anybody. I know they're playing Tennessee, but you know, against our third team defense, putting up a few points, I'm okay with that. Again, they'll have a lot of things to put on film, work on in practice, get better. That's only going to make our younger guys get better. Obviously, Josh Heupel wasn't happy with the execution from the young guys either. I think it was pretty clearly rough. I don't know what contributed to that, but it just is what it is. It was fine, but I don't get the people complaining saying, "Oh, we let UT," especially people that are like, "Oh, you let UT Martin get 24 points on you." It's like, watch the game. Watch the game. Our first team dominated them, especially with how many guys we had out. We had not playing. Our defense held UT Martin to 7 points in the first half, no points after that first drive. And they were missing like 4 guys in the secondary and Jawan Mitchell and whoever else. So, take with that what you will, but definitely it's you're not really getting the picture if you're criticizing the defensive play in this UT Martin game. Other than that, it was a fine game. I enjoy watching the first half. Prince DeFant is a legend. What a guy! What an athlete! He dropped that pass early, and evidently that gave him superpowers. But other than that,
I'm laughing at the chat because they're all saying the game got boring, and that's why I feel like that's where the fan base is at. Like they're
Right.
like the Alabama hangover, and then you got UT Martin, and it's just a boring game in a good way. And now we got to try to get fired up on a Monday morning for Kentucky. And there's one way to get fired up, and that's to give you the crossover that you've all been waiting for. It's 32 minutes late. It's all Eric's fault. I'm just kidding. Let's get him on here. Let's jump into some Locked On Talkin Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Eric Kane. It's always funny. People are like, "Hey, man, is this a problem?" And I'm always like, "No, man, it's cool. Do whatever. We'll work you in whenever." And then the first thing I do is take a shot to make them think, "Man, is he like really upset that I asked him if I could come on 30 minutes late?" I don't care at all. What's up, buddy?
I said 9 a.m. would work. I would make it work, man. But yeah, just taking a shot. But hey,
right out of the gate.
Glad to be here at 9:32, whenever, man. I'm glad to be here.
We're talking Tennessee Martin. We're going to jump into some Kentucky talk here coming up in just a second. Smoky Mountain Serps for 5. Thank you for Super Chat. Our second thirds did great against the number 17th ranked FCS team who hasn't lost a conference game. That was part of me talking about that Tennessee Martin game going into it. I thought they would score some points. I thought they would pick up some yardage, but most of it came against the second team. M5 for 5. Why was Slaughter still on the field? It was like 50-7. He got away with targeting 2, in my opinion, would have been another huge loss.
Not targeting M5. That was not targeting. Okay. The Omari Thomas hit on Bryce Young was targeting. That Danico Slaughter barely even touched his helmet. He led with his shoulder. That was very clearly.
That was a shoulder-to-shoulder hit, right? Yeah, I didn't think it was targeting.
Yeah, that was a massive clean hit right there. That's going to be a highlight reel for a long time.
Let's talk about this Tennessee Martin game. Eric Kane, thoughts on the win, and then let's get a little bit of drama in there because you tweeted out after the game that the handshake at midfield was short and sweet, and you can go as deep or as light on this as you want. I'll lay it out there because I'm a psychotic fan and I can do whatever I want. There's a lot of rumors with the recruitment of Ty Simpson, the son of UT Martin's head coach. A lot of rumors out there that Jeremy Pruitt was going to offer him a job on his coaching staff. Heupel's staff enters, does not offer that job. There's some drama there. Alabama ultimately gets Ty Simpson, and they took some shots late in this game. You talked a little bit about it on Locked On Vols, but just overall thoughts on the game, then you can touch on that drama a little bit if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the game was good. Tennessee did exactly what it was supposed to do. It got in there. It got out. I mean, I understand, and again, like, this is something Brent Hose has been saying for the last week, but, I mean, Tennessee's in a different spot now to where it was against Akron to where it was against Ball State. I'm still just shocked that Tennessee pulled its starters in the first half. I did not think that would happen ever. But Tennessee did that, and it was the right move. Get Hendon Hooker out of there in the second quarter. He didn't even play the entire first half, and still put up his numbers. But Tennessee got in, got out, relatively injury-free. I know Brandon Turnage went out in the first quarter early on, but looks like he's going to be okay. I know Elijah Simmons looked a little banged up there towards the end, but we'll have to see about him. But got in injury-free and put through a dominant effort. This offense, the second most total yards, in quite some time, the most since 2012. Troy, I mean, you had almost 700 yards of total offense, which is just, I don't care who you're playing. That's still super impressive. You got big performances out of Princeton Fant. You guys were just talking about it, and Squirrel White and Ramel Keaton, and got to see a whole lot of guys play. So, yeah, I'm with everybody here. It was kind of boring towards the end. It just was what it was. It's just that's one of these types of games, but it was good to get a lot of these young guys some playing time. As far as the post-game handshake, it was a drive-by. It was short and sweet. Yeah, I won't dig too deep into it, but I did just think it was kind of funny. And again, like in the first half, anything's fair game in my opinion. And if you're taking shots with the reserves in there, and they practice every day too, so it is what it is. So I didn't have a huge issue with it, but you were taking a shot on the last play of the game. You were running a double pass trick play right before halftime when you're up already 52-7 or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean it's just kind of funny to me, right? And that little drive-by handshake at the end was kind of expected. So I don't think that these two guys will be texting or calling one another or talking about each one's seasons anytime soon.
Do you think, this is almost felt like a bye week? We were talking right when we went live. It's like you can gauge the pulse of the fan base as a content creator based on views, how many people are showing up in live chats, interaction, and we're coming off of an all-time high with Alabama. I mean, just such a huge moment that we talked about. Oh my gosh, up to Wednesday and Thursday of this past week. We're not talking about Tennessee Martin. We're still celebrating the win. And then Tennessee Martin comes in here almost like a bye week. A lot of guys got an opportunity to play that don't typically play. How big is that? How big is that the way this schedule was laid out? The bye week, we talked about it earlier, came a little early in the year, but this game kind of sandwiched in here perfectly so you can get ready, get focused. There was a lot of question, is there going to be an Alabama hangover? That was not the case. This team came out, took care of business. How big is that on this schedule going into a very important Kentucky game on Saturday?
No, it was huge, right? I mean, in this schedule from top to bottom's been that way, right? So you go on the road and have a big game at Pittsburgh, come back and play Akron. You play Florida, big-time emotional game. You have an off week before you go down to LSU. You had LSU and then Alabama, which was kind of tough, obviously. But then you come and you play this football game, and it's kind of a breather before you get into the Final Five. You get into the Kentucky and the Georgias and the South Carolina, Missouris, and Vanderbilts. And so I just think it's huge to not only kind of get a breather, but also, I mean, Tennessee, the inactive list was, it was a laundry list, right? I mean, it was a lot of guys that, in my opinion, could have played if this was Kentucky, could have played if this was Georgia, but why? There's no point. And, Gabriel, you were talking about it a moment ago. I mean, Tennessee was down at one point in time to its fourth best cornerback was out there as cornerback one. And I don't care who you're playing, when you have your fourth best cornerback out there kind of being cornerback one, and then you got a walk-on or a freshman or whoever else filling on the other side, and you're still out there, winning 52-7 and everything. I mean, it's good to see, right? It's good to see. So the way this schedule was built, I think, was really important. I think it benefits Tennessee greatly. And now you're rested up, if you will, and you're ready for the home stretch, which will be a challenge, of course, starting this week with Kentucky.
Whoever made the schedule deserves a big pat on the back. Whoever put this schedule together for this season, really respect to them, whoever they are.
I think the Kentucky game just would have looked different, right? If it had been this week or last week instead of this upcoming week. But how big is that Kentucky game? And look, I'm not going to sit here and say Tennessee loses to Georgia because I think they can beat anybody. We keep shifting the goalposts. Every week we have our little powwow. We come together and we say, well, what's the expectations now? What's the ceiling? What's the floor? But I don't know how to put this into words, and I've said it multiple times, and nobody really takes the bait. So I figured, why not Eric Kane, the hardest working man in Tennessee media? Maybe he can grasp what I'm trying to say here. It feels to me like Kentucky may be a bigger game than Georgia, because if Tennessee loses to Georgia and they finish 11-1, we're all going to be celebrating. We'll be saying, hey, what a great season. Georgia, best team in the country, yada, yada, yada. But if they lose to Kentucky, I feel like it's going to leave a sour taste in the mouth of a lot of fans, saying they lose to Kentucky and Georgia, finish 10-2. Again, you asked me at the beginning of the season, you take it all the way to the bank and you celebrate it. You get what I'm laying down there, how big this Kentucky game is, and a lot of people seem to be cruising into it since Tennessee is, 12.5-point favorite, I think, at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that be the case any season, though? Any season you'd lose to Kentucky, wouldn't that be just a sour taste in your mouth? Wouldn't that be unacceptable? Wouldn't that be just the world's worst loss in the in the history of football games, with this fan base. And it's because you had 30 years of dominance, right? And I mean, I understand it. I get it. Even though I think that this Kentucky program is in a different stratosphere with Mark Stoops coming off, what was it? I saw the note last night, like it's second 10-win season, last 4 seasons or whatever the case may be. I mean, this is a different program than what it was 10, 15 years ago. So in that regard, I would say that, yeah, sure, but that's just kind of like it is every single year. I just think that it's important that you don't look ahead. I sound like a football coach right now. I get it, because if you get into a football game with Kentucky, they're good enough to come out there and beat you if you don't beat yourself, right? Tennessee has not beaten themselves at all this year. Tennessee has not come out slow. There's been no type of hangover, whether it be from beating Alabama or coming off the road at Pittsburgh or whatever. There's been no hangover or anything like that so far this year, and so I have no reason to believe that Tennessee will have that type of stuff against Kentucky. But if you do, Kentucky's good enough to where it can beat you. So we'll have to see. I mean, Will Levis will be in the NFL. He's overrated. They talk about the number 1 overall draft pick. It was annoying over the offseason, but he will be in the NFL. Chris Rodriguez is a good running back. Look at the rushing numbers for Kentucky when he was suspended to now that whenever he's come back. I mean, he's a difference maker. But that offensive line lost 3 starters. It's allowed 26 sacks already this year, which is not good, and there's opportunity there. So I think Tennessee comes up, shows up, plays, remotely its type of football game that we've been seeing Tennessee play this year. Tennessee should have no issue whatsoever. But you're right. If you do lose to Kentucky, as a Tennessee fan, that's losses to Kentucky is almost like worse than a loss to like Alabama, just because it is Kentucky. So you don't want that, obviously.
At some point, and we had this conversation last year, when Josh Heupel comes in and it's culture. That's all we're talking about. Always changing the culture. Look at the players. Look at their faces. Yada, yada. And at some point it's like, okay, let's just stop talking about culture, because that's just what it is. That's what it's going to be. This is a Josh Heupel coached football team. Now we're in year 2, and I feel like we keep saying, all right, are they going to be prepared? Are they going to be ready? Well, yeah, they were. Are they going to be prepared? Are they going to? Yep. At some point, we're going to have to drop that storyline and just expect that Josh Heupel coached football teams show up prepared, ready to play, no matter who the opponent is. Gabe said this week, Gabe, going to put you on blast here. Gabe said going into this Tennessee-Kentucky game that Kentucky would not score more than 10 points. Gabe, what do you like about this matchup? And then we'll get Eric's comments on the matchup, and then we'll get him out the door, and we'll move into some uniform talk that everybody's excited about.
Right. Well, the parameter for Kentucky to not score more than 10 points is Tennessee's defense, right? And a lot of people are very scared about Will Levis, how he matches up with our secondary. Our defensive line is disruptive. Kentucky's offensive line is not good. Will Levis has thrown, 6 interceptions so far this year? 5 or 6? I feel like you put the pressure on Will Levis. He is not good in crunch time. He is just not good in crunch time. You put the pressure on Will Levis. You put him on the ground. He's a tough son of a gun. I think we could beat on him all day and he wouldn't leave that game. But it's about making him throw bad throws. Because this secondary is not world class. But if we can put pressure on Will Levis, if we can get him to throw the ball. Because, frankly, I really like Chris Rodriguez as a running back. Tennessee's run defense, I think, is going to be able to stop him. We need to make them, in my opinion, throw the ball. Because in that case, if we can put pressure and dial up the blitzes on Will Levis, I think they're going to throw the ball probably 50 times anyway, 50, 55 anyway. But if we can dial up the blitzes, put the pressure on Will Levis, get him on the ground, or make him throw under pressure, I think Will Levis is going to fumble the ball at least once. I think he's going to throw 1 interception at least. That's what I'm hoping. If we can generate those turnovers, Kentucky's offense is not going to be able to get going. Will Levis and Chris Rodriguez, like Eric said, are NFL-type players. They are not capable of putting this Kentucky team on its back, and especially once they get behind. Assuming they do get behind pretty quickly, this Tennessee team preparing the same way. I can't imagine with that pressure of coming back from behind, they're going to be able to put the team on their back and make that happen. So we can go more in depth to that. But Eric, what do you think about that whole kind of analysis there?
Yeah, I mean, he's Levis is a guy that turns the football over all the time. I mean, he did it last year. I think he had like 13 interceptions, had a ton of fumbles. So, we'll see what that looks like. I agree with you. I think the defensive line is very disruptive. What Kentucky did was Tennessee got out to such a great start last year with those two, the screen passes out to Javonte Payton, and then I think got to Bayless Jones. And right from the get-go, Tennessee was, scoring 2 touchdowns in less than a minute of time of possession. And so Kentucky just kind of ditched its game plan and said, all right, well, we're just going to go and try to play Tennessee's game and outscore you, right? It nearly worked. Right. I mean, Kentucky nearly beat Tennessee last year at home at Kroger Field, and that was a really good ball club. What the difference is this year with Kentucky is there's no Wan'Dale Robinson, who's in the NFL right now. There's no Josh Ali, who is 6'5", 220 pounds at wide receiver. They lost 3 offensive linemen. That offense, though it returns Levis, though it returns Rodriguez, it just doesn't have that get up and go. I mean, I'm looking at here in 6 games this year, in 7 games this year, and really the games that matter, 26 points against Florida, 19 points against Ole Miss, 27 points against Mississippi State. So, I mean, that's not horrible, but it's not like an offense you have a whole lot of confidence in and scoring some points. So I just think that, I think Tennessee can get after Levis. I think Tennessee can make things different from him. And when he's under pressure, he won't have the outlets like he did last year to go and dump it off or find his go-to guy in Wan'Dale Robinson. Tavon Robinson, the transfer from Virginia Tech's a really good player, but they're throwing to a lot of their tight ends this year. So I'm with you there. I just think if Tennessee just comes and plays, a 70 or 80% of what their best football is, they should still win this football game handily. So we'll see. I don't know if they'll score 10 or below, but I don't think Kentucky will score an awful lot like they scored 43 points last year for sure.
Even Kentucky's offensive coordinator came out and said, "Well, we're not going to score 50 points a game," as they're about to face the team that is averaging 50 points a game this year. That doesn't sound like a very good mindset to be walking into this game with. So I think they're very aware that their offense is not going to be able to keep up.
That's right, and you got to look at opponents. You got to look at opponents too, right? I mean, look who Tennessee's played, and that argument is driving me nuts. People acting like Tennessee hadn't played anybody, and I get it. It's fans, it's trash talk, it is what it is. But it's
Alabama.
You beat Alabama, and you beat an LSU team that I think is better than people are, they're better than people think. And they're an extra point away from potentially only having one loss to Tennessee. And what they jump up to, like 18th after the win over Ole Miss. They're a good football team. But you look at, quality of opponent. And again, Kentucky averaging 26 points a game. Eric, you talked about it. The most they've scored is 37 on Miami of Ohio. How many points would Tennessee put on Miami of Ohio? And we keep saying –
as it wanted.
Yeah. Tennessee in a shootout against any team in the country. But can Tennessee's defense do enough? Can they do enough? Can they force a turnover? But I think, Eric, this coaching staff has shown that they listen to the Talkin VAWLS network, and they're just going to get aggressive and get after the quarterback. So
obviously,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Tim Banks.
Obviously, I mean, what else are they doing here on a Monday morning coming at? Well, maybe here on this Monday morning because it was just UT Martin. But I mean, what else are they doing on a Monday morning?
They got nothing to do.
They're listening to Talkin VAWLS. They're listening to Locked On VAWLS. They're listening to what we say they should do, and they're doing it, obviously. So
100%. I think they're going to come out. They're going to play aggressive. I'm excited to jump in a little bit more in depth with this Kentucky game coming up on Saturday. Make sure you guys go sub up Eric Locked On VAWLS. What'd you want? 5,000 subscribers. You got to be right there knocking on the door already.
Yeah,
right?
The goal was 5,000 by the end of football season. I think we're almost at 4,700. So I mean, we're just off to the races, guys. So I can't thank you enough. A lot of you guys watching and listening right now already sub over there. Can't thank you if you haven't. If you want even more Tennessee content outside of Talkin VAWLS as well, I encourage you to go subscribe over at Locked On VAWLS. We have a whole lot of fun every single morning for 30 minutes. It's when you wake up, it's there. So we'll see you over there.
You can say it. You can go ahead and say make it your first listen. It's okay. It's okay.
It's routine.
I'll let you say it. As long as this becomes your second listen, I don't care if you listen to his first, mine first, just listen to all of it. The links are always in the description. When Eric comes on, I've got the links to his Twitter. I've got the link to Locked On Vols to go subscribe. I've also got the link to VolQuest.com. You guys still got that dollar deal going on over there, right?
Yep, dollar deal. $1 for 1 year. And, I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan and you're a maniac and you're watching this right now at 9 a.m. on a Monday morning,
yes,
and you're not paying $1 over at VolQuest.com, what are you doing? $1 for 1 year.
That's the best deal you can get. Love what you guys do over at VolQuest. Love Locked On Vols. Eric, thanks for coming on, buddy. We'll do this thing again. Make sure to tune in every single Friday for Locked On Talkin Vols over on Locked On Vols. Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Man, oh man, I'm starting to get the fire in my eyes for this Kentucky game. Jacob McGuire for 2. Thank you for Super Chat. What does Hendon Hooker have to do to win the Heisman? This was a conversation we had, starting the Heisman campaign before the year even started. A lot of people said he had to go 10-2, needed to beat Georgia or Alabama. Didn't even really need to beat them both, just needed to beat one of the two. What do you think? You think it's good enough if he finishes? Let's say they finished 11-1. You think that's good? I think he's going to New York. I think he's going to be a finalist to win it. Maybe you got to beat Georgia.
I can see it. He's going to New York, period, unless he gets hurt. But I can already see it. C.J. Stroud is just the media's darling for some reason. The Ohio State fans came to crucify me on Twitter Saturday because I compared Hendon Hooker's stats in 27 minutes of play versus C.J. Stroud's 55 or 60. And C.J. Stroud had 10 more yards passing, 1 more touchdown, an interception, and a fumble. So Hendon Hooker had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. I know it's UT Martin, but Ohio State was playing Iowa. Iowa's defense is ranked really high. They've played garbage all season. And when they don't play garbage, a la Michigan, they get exposed. Very easy.
And what would Stroud's numbers look like if Ohio State played in the SEC? If their schedule was Tennessee's schedule, what would his numbers look like? Way worse.
If Ohio State played Alabama today, C.J. Stroud would probably have 3 interceptions and maybe a touchdown.
Yeah.
Period. That's just it. I like C.J. I think he's a great player. I just think Hendon Hooker is a better one, and I think Hendon Hooker has a tougher schedule. I think Hendon Hooker has more impressive win. Like the stats are somewhat similar, but I think Hendon Hooker's stats are more impressive given the schedule, given the environments. Even if we lose to Georgia, Hendon Hooker needs to win the Heisman this year. He should win the Heisman this year, period. I don't think there's really, I know people have talked about maybe Bo Nix being a dark horse. Bo Nix would have to do a lot because right now it's pretty clearly just C.J. Stroud and Hendon Hooker. But yeah, I mean, for Hendon to win the Heisman, he just needs to keep playing how he is. Just not get hurt. Keep playing how he is. For God's sake, just you don't have to slide, but just stop taking hits. Good Lord.
But he loves that little spin. He loves that little spin move, man, and it gets him hit a lot. He loves it. Troy Lee in the chat says, I disagree. CJ is a baller. We're not saying he's not, man. He's a good football player, but you're talking about the best of the best, and you look at schedules and level of competition. I think Hendon Hooker's done more, man. I think he deserves it. And I think, like I said, I think he'll be in New York. We'll see if he does enough to bring home that Heisman Trophy. We got 340 people watching live right now on this Monday morning show. Appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me and Gabe and Eric Kane. Always a good time. Love these Monday morning shows. Make sure you guys do hit the thumbs up. Somebody said we were getting close to like 175. Let's get it to 200. Let's get it to 200 and call it a day. But we appreciate you guys being here with us. If you want to support a little bit more, you can join the channel. You see the people in the chat. If you look at the YouTube chat, you see those Power T's, and you see their name is highlighted in orange, and all their comments stand out more than everybody else's. Why is that? Because they're a member of the channel. You can get that for 99 cents a month. That's it, 99 cents a month. Or if you want to give a little bit more, there's different tiers. You want to be a part of fan call-in shows. The guys that give $10 a month, they get the link first. They get a chance to come on, hang out, and that's how Gabe ended up co-hosting the Monday morning show, because he came on to a fan call-in show. But if you like what we do, you want to support what we do, you can hit that join button and add a little bit of money. If not, that's cool. Hang out, talk Tennessee football, and hit that thumbs up. Something you guys were wanting to talk about earlier in the night. Goodness gracious, what am I talking about? Earlier in the day, early in the morning, earlier in the stream. was alternate uniforms coming up, and that's because Tennessee put this out there, October 29th, Tennessee, Kentucky, 7 p.m. Gabe, I loved it when they put this out there. You said, tell me we're going dark mode without telling me we're going dark mode, but then it kind of grows from there, and you sent me a couple other pictures that have been seen floating around the internet. Let me see. This was the first one. This was the first one that popped out, and there's the black helmet, which gets people excited, but there is also an orange helmet. Now, these are back in storage, a locker room, whatever. Some people, you want to talk about the color. Is it off? Is it right? But those were floating around. This is the most recent one that is floating around. Now you can see the Power T on there. Alternate unis coming up. They're going to go dark mode, but I'm starting to wonder, are you going to see some crazy combination where it's like orange helmet, black jersey, orange pants, something? What do you think they're going to bring out on Saturday? What do you want to see them break out on Saturday?
On Saturday, I want all dark mode. Black uniform, black pants, black jersey, black helmet. That's what I want. Black cleats, black socks, just everything. I want a full dark mode uniform. I really love we talked about the idea, I think, a couple of months ago. You made a video about it, how Vols Shop had this T-shirt with a black helmet on it, and everyone was like, that's interesting. But nobody had really seen it until just a few weeks ago. And now they're starting to actually use them and everything. So yeah, I'm really hoping for black everything this Saturday. It's just a true the true Tennessee dark mode uniform. I think they had they wanted to do black helmets last year, I believe, but I think they had some supply issues. Same with the orange helmets at the beginning of this season. I believe they had some issues getting the color right, supplying the helmets. So the orange helmets, I really like the orange helmets. A lot of people, a lot of hate for the orange helmets, unfortunately. Which is to be expected. There are always those people. I know there are some of those people probably in this chat, and that's okay. But you can see the orange is a little bit different from the orange, the sticker orange on the helmet. But orange looks different. It sticks a different way on the helmet. They're trying to match it to the uniform. So if you look down there on the shelf and you see the other orange stuff, it is the exact same orange. It's not
or even right above
orange.
it.
Yeah,
right above
exactly.
it, you can see something right there.
It's that's pretty much the exact same orange. So I don't really understand people's complaints. I think it's going to look great. I don't know if we're going to wear. I don't think we're going to get the chance to wear the all orange this year, unless we do it against Missouri, which I think would be cool. But a lot of people are thinking the orange helmet, white jersey, and orange pants against South Carolina. Is what a lot of people are thinking at the moment, which either way I'd be fine with. But specifically, yeah, this Saturday, all dark mode uniforms. What do you think, Boogie? What do you think about the all dark mode?
That's what I want. That's what I want on Saturday. And of course, this is floating around, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as far as uniforms go, I want all black. I want dark mode, dark helmet, cleats, everything black. And then I think we need to black out the stadium. Look, I get it. Some people are like, no, we don't do it. Everybody else does that. Blah, blah, blah. It still looks cool, man. And I think it would look so cool in Neyland Stadium, a place that's usually so bright, like that picture in the background, so bright, orange, white. I think it would really pop to just all black, man, dark mode. And I really think that's what they're going to do. I think the people that want this done in I was kind of like, and I'm still kind of like, whatever. Like if they do it, whatever, like it doesn't matter. And there's a lot of pictures, Photoshop pictures floating around. Yeah, I know you're against it. I wasn't too sure about it. I don't know, man. The more I think about it, I just like the blackout. I think the blackout. Leah wants the Halloween checkerboard. What else are you guys saying? Andrew says the same. Black and orange checker would look awesome. All black would be cool as well. We'll see what Danny White does. I don't know if he's the one that makes the decision. He usually kind of gauges Twitter and then just runs with it. And it's like, it's so fun to be a part of the Tennessee fan base because we speculate and we have different opinions. And like, some people want the checkerboard, others don't. Some people want dark mode, others want, whatever. And then it's like, we all sit back and wait for Danny White to come in and say, this is what we're doing, and then we all freaking get fired up and go do it. And it's so much fun to be a Tennessee fan right now. Jake for 5, thank you for Super Chat. Imagine being a diehard Vol fan living in Ohio. I get in these arguments every year. It's awful. the worst fan base, and it's not even close. I think he sent that when we were talking about Stroud versus Hendon Hooker. We talked about it last night. Their fan base, good gosh, man, when I was covering the Carnell Tate recruitment, they were in every video commenting, screaming, yelling. They're obnoxious and annoying. But thank you for the super chat, Jake. We appreciate it. I think it's what do you think they do with the orange helmets? Because I don't know that they're wearing them on Saturday. What do you got? You got Georgia coming up on the road. You've got let me just pull up the schedule. You got Georgia coming up on the road. Missouri. So you got Missouri. You got 3 road games in Missouri at home, and that's it. I wouldn't be surprised though to see them wear that orange helmet on the road. Maybe go orange helmet, white jerseys, orange pants. That's a clean look.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking that they're gonna wear. I'm not thinking they're gonna wear it against. They're going to wear it against Missouri at home. If they did, it'd be all orange, and I just don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to do, like I said, they'll do the orange helmet with the white jersey and the orange pants when they do it, I believe. But I doubt they'll do it for Georgia. So South Carolina is looking the most possible. If it's an away game or if it's a home game, it's obviously going to have to be Missouri. Because this Saturday we are, I would bet probably my bank account that we're doing all black with the black helmets. If not, I will be insanely shocked, and that will be a huge mistake. But I'm like almost positive that we're going to be doing all of the. We could do orange helmets at Vandy, like people are saying, but Cody, I'm talking about if it was an away game. If it would be all orange if we were doing it at home. We couldn't wear orange jerseys at. Well, I don't know actually, because does Missouri wear white jerseys at home?
I'm not sure, but I don't know how all that works either. I think you have to get it approved by the SEC to wear a home uniform on the road. And because we have that conversation every year with Tennessee, Alabama, and it never happens. Some people say it's because of Nick Saban. I don't know who's to blame for it, but it never happens.
Well, because it'd probably be considered an alternate uniform, like we did against LSU. You know, that them wearing white jerseys, and we wore the smoky grays. But I don't know. I really like the orange helmet. I like the dark mode. I don't like the checker black and orange. I just don't, guys. I just don't.
Tell them why.
A blackout would be great. It looks okay. Hold on. Do you have the?
No, I don't have it. You can pull it up.
Let me. I'm gonna pull this up. You do some shilling or something.
When you did that, when you showed me what you're about to show, it immediately changed my mind. I was kind of on board with it, and then once you see this picture, you can't unsee that picture. You can't unsee it, and now it's all I think of every time people tweet that stuff out. It's all I see. I'm going dark mode, black helmets, blackout Neyland Stadium. I think it's going to look great, and I think it's a way to get the fan base up, man. We saw this fan base, how they responded when Lane Kiffin pulled the old switcheroo and brought out the black jerseys. And, you know, I know some of the old-timers get mad and don't like it, but the kids love it, and that's what somebody just said in the chat. Do whatever the kids want, and that's why I question the whole orange pants, black jersey combination, because Nico wears that all the time. Logan Branham for 5. Thank you for Super Chat. Awesome community you guys have created. So glad I found this channel. I got to say, Gabriel has convinced me. Tennessee 42, Kentucky 10, GBO. I love it. I love it. Thank you for the Super Chat, Logan. Glad you found this community too, man. I think some people you either love it or hate it, but I think people that stick around and realize what we're trying to do and what this is, I think they really enjoy that it's a platform for everybody and everybody gets involved, and it's not just about who's on air, who's on screen. It's about everybody in this community. So thank you for the Super Chat. We appreciate it.
But yeah, I sent it to you on Twitter. I can't find the post that I sent you the picture. I can't find the post that compared the two side by side, but I liked it like a couple days ago. I have way too many likes, but
let me screen share my DMs and see the conversations where me and Dauber talk about how much, or me and Gabe talk about how much we hate Dauber and we're going to take over. And let's see here. Boom, there you go. That's all I see now. That is all I see when you show me the black and orange checker Neyland. That is it. That is all I see. It's all I ever see. So I'm with you, Gabe. Let's go dark mode. Let's black out the stadium. I don't need to see the nastiest Halloween candy of all time. But look, we're an hour into this thing. It was fun, good conversation, talking a little Tennessee Martin, kind of teasing a little Kentucky talk. We're going to be live tomorrow night, fan call-in show, 9 p.m. Make sure you guys are there. If you're not a member of this channel, make sure you fix that. Hit the join button down below. I promise you, if you come on for the fan call-in show, you will have a good time. It's always a fun stream. Wednesday night, I've not confirmed it yet, but I think Vols JP will be back in the house at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Tons of videos coming your way. Saturday, we will do a tailgate show an hour before kickoff. So at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we will go live for the fan call-in tailgate show. And then obviously late night Talkin Vols immediately after the football game on Saturday evening. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. All the links are in the description. If you want merch, if you want to join the channel, if you want to support Locked On Vols, it is all in the description below. But that's going to do it for Gabe. My name's Boogie. This is the Talkin Vols Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.